Imagine being trapped in a frozen void, where the wind screams at 60 miles per hour, and the ice beneath your feet isn't just ground, it's a living, shifting monster that can swallow you whole. In January 1915, deep within the treacherous Weddell Sea of Antarctica, 28 men on a ship named the Endurance realized they weren't just stuck. They were being hunted by the environment itself. For 7 agonizing months, they lived aboard a vessel locked in millions of tons of ice, until one night. A sound like a gunshot echoed from the hull. The ship was tilting, groaning, and literally being crushed like an eggshell by the immense pressure of the freezing ocean. This is the story of Sir Ernest Shackleton, and what historians call the greatest survival feat in human history. Shackleton didn't just stumble into this nightmare, he invited it, having posted with low wages, bitter cold, and no guarantee of return. He wanted souls who thrived on danger, and he found them 28 men and over 50 sled dogs ready to cross the Antarctic continent. But as World War I broke out, their mission turned into a desperate fight for breath. As the ice packed around the ship grew thicker by the day, crushing and bending the hull, cutting off all hope of immediate rescue, the crew was left stranded under an endless sky with temperatures so low that frostbite was constant, food supplies dwindling, and every movement outside risking death. Yet they clung to discipline and hope, led by Shackleton, a man who had attempted Antarctic missions twice before and now faced his greatest challenge. Days turned into weeks, then months. The ship slowly crushed by pressure, shifting at night with violent creaks that sounded as though unseen forces were pushing it. Then one dark, terrifying evening, the Endurance lurched violently to one side. Cracks forming, water seeping into the lower decks. When the ship finally splintered and sank into the abyss, these 28 men were left standing on a floating ice floe. Thousands of miles from civilization, with nothing but 3 tiny lifeboats and a dwindling supply of penguin meat. They salvaged what they could and moved on to the frozen sea, exposed to the merciless Antarctic wind, walking, dragging, and later floating on ice sheets toward the distant hope of Elephant Island. If you're fascinated by the mysteries of the deep and the limits of human endurance, make sure to subscribe to The Silent Depth for more incredible stories like this. The journey took months of relentless struggle against 90-foot waves, bitter cold, and exhaustion beyond comprehension. When they finally reached Elephant Island, it was not the rescue they had dreamed of, but a harsh, barren rock that demanded further courage. As their icy platform began to crack, Shackleton made a suicidal decision. He would take 5 men in a 22-foot boat and navigate 800 miles of the world's deadliest ocean to reach a whaling station on South Georgia Island. Without a GPS or compass, battling hurricane-force winds and monstrous waves, they navigated solely by the stars and sun, enduring freezing nights and near-death conditions. They reached the island only to realize they were on the wrong side. Forced to climb 4,000-foot unmapped mountains with no climbing gear just to reach help. Against every law of nature and probability, Shackleton, barely recognizable, worn and frostbitten, yet Alive returned months later to the desolate Elephant Island, where the rest of his crew waited. As he pulled his boat onto the shore, he didn't find skeletons. He found every single one of his 27 men alive, having survived 2 years in the most hostile conditions on Earth. Shackleton never completed his transcontinental mission, but he achieved something much greater, a testament to courage, unity, and the unbreakable human spirit that can overcome even the most impossible odds. But here's where the story takes a chilling turn. In 2022, after 107 years of silence, the Endurance was finally discovered 3,000 meters below the Antarctic ice, perfectly preserved in the freezing darkness. When the expedition's deep-sea cameras first illuminated the wreck, they found something unexpected. The captain's quarters door was wide open, swaying gently in the current, as if someone had just walked through it. The ship's log, which Shackleton had left behind during the evacuation, was reportedly found on the navigation table, open to a page dated 3 days after the ship had sunk. Perhaps most disturbing of all, when the crew enhanced the sonar images of the surrounding seabed, they detected what appeared to be a trail of footprints in the sediment leading away from the ship. Footprints that stretched nearly half a mile into the pitch-black abyss before vanishing completely. The expedition leaders sealed the findings, and to this day, no official explanation has been given. Yet the biggest mystery remains unsolved. What actually struck the Endurance that fateful night? The crew reported hearing a thunderous impact from below the hull, something far more violent than the normal grinding of ice. Some men swore they felt the ship lift momentarily, as if something massive had pushed it from beneath. The damage patterns on the recovered hull show fractures inconsistent with ice pressure alone, deep, deliberate gouges running along the keel, almost claw-like in their precision. What could have been lurking 3,000 meters below the ice in 1915? What force was powerful enough to doom a ship built to withstand the Arctic's fury? The Endurance rests in its frozen tomb, still bearing the name of the man who refused to let his crew die, but now guarding secrets that perhaps were never meant to surface. Some mysteries, it seems, are better left in the deep. What do you think struck the Endurance that night? Let us know in the comments below.